Hi, and welcome to Something to Talk About. I'm Linda McNamee, and for the next hour, as you saw, we have another Eagle project coming up, and we're talking about care collections, or what exactly are we collecting, because you can't really collect care, but you'll find out in a moment. Anyway, before I begin, few little housekeeping rules. We are live this evening, so if you have a question for my wonderful guest, whom you will meet momentarily, you can always give us a call at 781-270 Yes, 270-9199. We've done a few pre-records and I didn't remember the number. But you're welcome to call. If you have a question later on or a suggestion for a future topic, or watch this when we're not live, you can always email me at talk@bcattv.org. I would like to thank the crew for this evening. John Vias is one of the staff members here, making sure us volunteers behave ourselves and try to keep the studio in one piece, which I think we're doing tonight. Not sure about some of the crew, but the crew, we have Noel Donahue and Evan McNamee as crew this evening, making sure that everything goes smoothly. So I do want to thank them for giving up their Wednesday evening to come hang out at BCAT. And always tradition, have to thank my husband Paul for staying home for Daddy Date Night, even though Daddy Date Night is more just like Daddy Night. So anyway, there, I think housekeeping's done. Now I would like to introduce my wonderful guest. Tia Poirier is an Eagle Scout candidate. You're not quite Eagle yet, but you are a Life Scout in the BSA program, and you are working at heading towards your Eagle. Mm-hmm. So thank you for joining me.
Yeah,
now,
great to be here.
Before we get into your project itself and your scouting career, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and what made you decide to get involved in scouting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grew up here in Burlington. I joined Girl Scouts when I was in around kindergarten, I want to say, as a daisy. I stayed in until around last year.
Okay.
Yeah, I got into scouting at a young age, and I joined Scouts BSA when I was allowed to in February of 2019.
I was about to say when you were allowed to.
Yeah, but before that, my brothers were in Scouts BSA, so I went to all the stuff, did all the camping, went to meetings.
So you were an honorary Boy Scout, kind of, and now
I was called
Scouts
the mascot
BSA.
once.
So yeah, you know, must have been different because, you know, the Boy Scout program and the Girl Scout program are two very different programs, and you get to see what they're doing, and you're like, I want to do that. I want to do that. So anyway, glad you were able to do both for a while. So because you've only been allowed to be in the Scouts the Scouts BSA program for just a few years, what was it like, or what is it like being one of the first female scouts in that program?
I think it's great. My scout troop is like we call it a family troop.
Okay.
We're co-ed. We have girls and boys. It's very respectful. It's a nice environment. I've known everyone in there since I was a kid. It's just, it's a fun place to be. We go on camping trips once a month, or we used to before COVID. We're getting back into the swing of things.
I think it's finally the rules are starting to relax. Mm-hmm. People are getting vaccinated, hopefully, and it's just kind of reaching a new normal. Mm-hmm. So what was it like going through all the ranks? Because you were a little bit older when you joined, and it usually you're given like 6 years to do this, and you've had like half of that.
Normally, boys join Scouts BSA from Cub Scouts when they're 11.
Okay.
I joined when I was 13, I want to say. So, couple years difference. But I went right into it, went to scout camp just for one day because I had a place to go to that week. But went conflict. One day, got a camping night, I think, got a merit badge, started right in.
Cool.
Went on a trip that we go on every couple years to Sandy Neck, where there's it's I'm pretty sure it's down by the Cape.
Okay.
But you go and it's a 3-mile hike in with all your stuff,
Ooh,
and then
okay.
it's a 3-mile hike out with all your stuff.
Is it like an overnight in between there? Because
Yeah,
miles has to take you a while to walk.
There's sometimes we do 2 nights, sometimes we do 1 night.
Okay.
All depends on everyone's schedules when we're free. But that was my first official camping trip, I think, or one of the first.
Okay. They all kind
And-
of blur together. But that sounds really exciting.
Yeah.
Hopefully you did not do winter camping at that time.
I've been going to our troops turkey roast for years,
Oh,
which is
fun.
in November, December,
Okay.
around there, and it's always cold. So
Yeah. No, my son actually attended your troops turkey feast, turkey roast,
Turkey
whatever, turkey event, and he loved the food. And for him to say that, that's quite the compliment, you know. So, okay, we'll probably go back to talking about the Scout BSA career path that you've chosen, but let's talk about your Eagle project. I'm going to ask like a whole bunch of questions and then you can just start telling me the story. So like what made you choose the project you did and how did you go about establishing that as a project?
So originally I wanted to do some traditional building projects. I wanted to make a giant chalkboard in a park near my house for people to go and draw on.
Cool.
But
Okay.
the problem with that is that it's easily vandalized and misused.
Yeah.
So,
Not everybody is a Boy Scout.
and then I wanted to do some things for the Science Center here at VHS.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it was already taken by another scout.
Okay.
So then I was thinking of less traditional projects, of less building projects. And my church works with the Wish Project, which is an organization built on getting used furniture and clothes and giving them to people who are homeless or just out of homelessness.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, where are they based out of? Are they in Boston?
They're in Lowell.
Oh, okay. I've heard of them, but it's like one of those things that you hear of and you never really think about beyond, oh, okay, that's nice. So how did you establish that partnership? Was it through your church connections?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
I have a representative in the church. I talked to them through email, and then I talked directly to the Wish Project through email and phone. And they're originally worried because they've had Eagle Scouts come in and build racks and do stuff and building projects with them before.
Okay.
But they couldn't really think of anything more that they needed related to that. So I said that I'd be getting item donations and donating items that can't really be reused, like soap and deodorant and stuff
Okay.
that you don't really want to get used.
Well, yeah, use shampoo. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a little weird. So that's something that you came up with. Oh, okay. So how did you develop that into an Eagle project? Because Eagle projects are pretty involved in,
Yeah.
collecting,
So the thing about Eagle projects is that they're entirely about leadership and showing leadership. And so originally my idea was questioned because it kind of just seemed like a big fundraiser.
Okay.
But there's a lot of management. I have to go in and ask my friends from other schools to go to their schools and set up boxes. I have to ask members of my community, volunteers at like my parents' work, or my church and other churches in the community to step forward.
Okay.
And I have to delegate and manage all of that. So
Okay, I was about to say there's a leadership component and there's also a management component, and that's not always the same.
But I have to make sure the boxes are getting places, people are donating. I have to make sure the boxes are moving around.
And making sure people don't donate used shampoo.
Yeah.
Not that they do that, but you never know. Some people are kind of weird. So how did you determine where to put all these boxes? How many? How often do you have to go and empty the boxes? And where do you put all the stuff? Is it like a steady stream of donations to the Wish Project? Or is it collect everything and bring it all at once and go, here you go.
The idea right now is collect everything and bring it all at once.
Okay.
We're going to have a day where we take everything we have. We're going to get all the backpacks and put them together. And then we're going to put all the finished, completed backpacks in cars for transport.
Okay.
And we're going to take them and put them there all at once.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What is your goal? I mean, how many, do you have like a set goal of how many completed backpacks, and what happens if you don't have enough to complete a bag?
The official goal is 50 backpacks.
Okay.
We accept monetary donations so
Okay.
that if people don't donate products, we can use our reserves in the monetary donations to go and buy the products from the dollar store.
So if you have 60 tubes of toothpaste and nothing else, then you can use the money to go out and buy stuff. Okay. So when did you start this project?
Well, that's a bit complicated because I originally started before winter.
Well, we have an hour.
I originally started around November, December.
Okay.
With this particular project, that's when the idea was kind of coming together.
Okay.
But
you weren't collecting at that time, were you?
No, I was
Okay, because
not.
I'm like, that's kind of a big,
Yeah.
a lot of competition for donations at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the idea was that I'd start then because people are a little more generous during the giving season.
Okay.
It's just a great season to give. But I didn't actually have everything together. I couldn't actually contact everyone, didn't get emails back until around March of this year.
All right. And what has happened from March to now?
I've been putting boxes places. There's a box at my school, Shawsheen Tech. There's a box at the Woburn Scout Shop.
Okay.
I'm working on setting up boxes in Burlington Public Schools.
Excellent. Now, other than the boxes, how are you telling people, hey, this is what I'm doing, go put stuff, please, consider donating and putting stuff in this box? I mean, how are you getting your word out?
I have flyers. I'm setting up flyers wherever people will let me, bulletin boards, against schools, through email chains, that sort of thing.
Now, can you tie that, or are you tying that into the management component? Are you giving flyers to other people in your scout troop or other students at school with you and say, hey, here, everywhere you go, help spread the word?
Yeah, my friends at school, they've been really helpful in spreading the word. I've given all of my troop members a copy of the flyer to promote and to donate themselves if they can.
Okay, cool. What's in the bag? Do you want to show me?
Sure, yeah.
That's a complete. How did you finish a bag if you're still in the middle of collections, or is that like your test case?
This is our prototype.
Your prototype. Oh, I love it. So how are you getting the backpacks as well?
That also comes from both monetary donations and people can donate used backpacks. That's one of the things that you can donate used because it's not as unhygienic. So we're taking, wipes, paper towels,
because we're still in the middle of a global pandemic.
Different things, laundry detergent.
Okay.
Just stuff people need. Shower products. Razors also. Things that are you don't even think about that.
Go to the dentist office and say, hey, do you have any toothbrushes in your stash that you won't mind donating?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, are all the bags the same, or are they different, or how do you determine what goes in which bag?
Well, the idea is that every bag gets one of each item.
Okay.
But that'll be determined when we have everything.
Have all your stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. On the flyer, is there a list of suggestions, or do you have a website or any social media just to give people ideas of what to suggest?
Yeah, the flyer has everything. I'm working on setting it up. I think there is a flyer in the Woburn Scout Shop.
Okay.
It's just been going around.
Kind of leave it up to people's own decisions. What do they want? All right.
Yeah, there are suggestions on the flyer.
So I'm not really sure if we answered this, but you had mentioned earlier where, you know, your project originally wanted to be to build something. And most of the projects that I'm familiar with in my own little corner of the world are building something. And you ended up coming up with the idea of not to build, but why did you decide not to build something? Was it just, I didn't have anything to build, so let's look at something else, or?
Well, with my Eagle project, I kind of wanted to make a difference and help people where it matters. And just in our community in Burlington, we're pretty secure. We don't really need homeless shelters. I don't know of anyone who's built a homeless shelter, but we don't. I was more community focused.
Okay.
And I couldn't really find a project that affected a lot of people in a positive way. So I decided to do a non-building project because I could affect more people everywhere. Because the Wish Project doesn't just work locally.
Oh, how big is the Wish Project? Is it like all over Massachusetts, or do you have any idea? Because I know I didn't ask you about that in advance.
I'm not sure. I know that we do a lot of stuff with them. We also do a lot of stuff with Hope Worldwide, which is worldwide.
Okay. You're not sending those worldwide, though. You're just sending those up to Lowell.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can distribute them wherever they think they're needed.
Oh, okay. I know we did talk about this a little bit, that the whole focus of an Eagle project is to
Build
not really
leadership.
develop leadership skills, but to show that you've already learned these leadership skills.
Yes.
You've developed them, and now you're going to put them to use. And the management skills. What are, I don't remember, you know, I got to hear stuff 3 times before I remember, but what are some of the criteria that need to be met? You know, you said it has to have a leadership component. Is that it? Does it have to have a certain time frame, a certain scope?
Well, it does, but you're kind of responsible for planning that yourself.
Okay.
It's a leadership and it's a responsibility project.
Okay.
So you have to manage everything that happens, when it happens. You have to record your shortcomings,
Okay.
things like that.
So if I were to do this over again, which I'm going to ask you later on if you were to do the whole thing over, but, you know, I'm looking at my notes here, and most Eagle projects have a mentor. And again, most Eagle projects are building stuff. So how did you find a mentor, and how did that mentor support you in this non-traditional project?
Our troop has an Eagle mentor that's been in the troop for years, as long as I can remember. And so I went up to him and was, you know, giving him my ideas, Mr. Ryan.
Okay.
And I was giving him ideas. He was critiquing them so that, you know, they don't get shut down at the board when I already have everything planned out. But on this one, he was a little skeptical. The board was a little skeptical because it's not a traditional project, and it's hard to show leadership in a primarily fundraising-ish project.
More of a donation as opposed to like a brick and mortar type. Here, you do this and you do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you go to get your Eagle project approved, is it just like filling out a form, or do you actually have to go to like a panel of experts and prove your project worthy?
Well, you have to fill out all the paperwork, and then you take the paperwork and you submit it, and they look over your paperwork, and you have an Eagle board of review where you go over your project, you go over everything leading up to Eagle.
Okay.
And then they can either approve your Eagle project and approve everything you've done, or they can say it doesn't qualify, and that's worrisome.
Yeah, so is there like a pre-approval process before you go on?
Yes.
Okay, and that's just like a paperwork thing, and then when you're all done, you have to say, look, I did everything that I said I would do, right?
Yeah.
And everything I've done is in person.
Yeah.
Okay. What are some of the other things that you need to do to achieve that Eagle rank?
Well, you have to go through all the other ranks in Scouts.
Okay.
So you start without a rank, and then you get Scout rank, then you get Tenderfoot, second class, first class, Star, and then Life. I'm currently a Life Scout.
Yay!
But Eagle takes longer than people think. You also need a total of 21 merit badges at least.
Okay.
I think it's 11 Eagle required that are specific ones, and then 10 that are just other ones. I have a lot of merit badges.
Yay, I see that. So, I'm kind of familiar with the Eagle required ones and the non-Eagle required ones, but there are a lot more than 21.
Yeah, there are easily over 100, maybe over 200 merit badges that you can get. And a lot of people go for merit badges instead of Eagle, but it's hard to do both.
Oh, okay. Just wondering. How many are you up to?
I have, hold on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 25.
Yay!
26 maybe.
Okay. What is your timeline for completing Eagle? Or completing your project and going in front of your board of review?
It's had some challenges. I originally was planning on being done with the actual donations by around now.
Okay.
But, we've had some hiccups. So now I'm hoping still before June would be nice.
Okay.
But
because
if
it's
not,
probably going to be hard to collect stuff once the schools are out for
Yeah.
the year. Okay.
but, we'll, I have time. We
Okay.
can still work with if it doesn't work out.
Okay. Well, you
by
also
June.
mentioned that you also have like the church and the
Yeah.
scout shop, and so you'll still have stragglers. What happens if after you bring all this stuff? What if people are still donating stuff?
People are still donating stuff. I'm sure we'll have a lot of extra supplies.
Okay.
Well, maybe not a lot, but extra supplies
If you
in
do,
general.
okay.
And I'm pretty sure the Wish Project will take extra stuff outside of backpacks. If not, we can donate them to, there are a bunch of organizations in Burlington. There are,
Well, even the food pantry, I heard
Yeah.
they just moved. Who knew? So I'm looking at my notes, and again with the traditional Eagle project, they've had to raise money. Have you had to raise any money in addition to, like, what have you had to do as opposed to, oh, it would be nice just to have some monetary contributions to supplement the donations? I mean, how did you figure out, was there like any type of budgetary process or monetary thinking in your whole scope?
we have a troop Venmo
Okay.
that we've been having people donate to because not everyone can, go out and buy stuff and bring it in. For specific fundraising, like
I'm just wondering, like, if there was a goal that you set, that you had to set to keep, the keepers of the paperwork happy.
Yeah, so backpacks, it'd be nice if they were donated, but we originally in the plan were thinking of buying all of those with monetary contributions.
Okay.
So it was either $11 to $15 per backpack, and our
Okay.
goal was 50 backpacks.
Okay.
So the goal was about $550
Okay.
ish on the low end for monetary donations. But as for like specific fundraising opportunities or events, I haven't really had any.
Okay. Again, I've only heard,
Yeah.
second, third, fourth hand about Eagle project development. So I'm just wondering, like, do you have to like create a budget? And I'm like, because your project is non-traditional, yet very useful, there's no budget exactly. So I was wondering
Yeah.
if that became a hurdle for you, but it doesn't sound
Yeah.
like it really did.
Not really. I'm mostly just on the paperwork, because you do have to put on the paperwork your budget and how much everything is going to cost and
Okay.
who's going to pay for it, if you're going to do fundraising or if you're doing it for the town or for an organization, if they're going to fund it.
Okay.
I just put it down as donations, whether it be, actual, like, item donations or monetary donations. I counted it all as like a net value.
Okay, so it was, I got it. So, you know, if we have 50 backpacks, that's, you know, 50 of this and 50 of that and 50 of that and 50 of that, and it would equate to be X number of dollars, right? I get it. So, all right, now is the time for the question. If you had to start from scratch, knowing what you know now, would you have done anything differently, and what would that have been?
I would have started sooner. I would have gotten emails out faster. I would have sent follow-up emails faster, because it's been months since I officially started, because of just hurdles with communication. So I probably would have been a little more active with my communication.
Showing at people's front door, you're not reading your emails, come and talk to me. Answer the door. So, all right, I digress. Do you think, and again, I'm just going off the top of my head, once you're done with this project, do you think that you will be an example to others to start thinking outside of the box?
I hope so. I hope that my project gets a little bit of reach, you know, because we have a lot of people building Gaga pits and doing stuff.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm like,
my brother did that. I'm not.
okay. A
Nothing
lot of
against
people are
it.
doing that.
Yeah.
So there's one at Rahanis now. There's one at Wildwood. I know there's others around.
I think they were building one at Simon's too.
Okay, where are they going to put it? I don't want to know.
know.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. What knowledge do you think you've received or you've gained just from this project? None of the merit badges, nothing that you've learned in scout meetings, but organizing this project.
Communication is a big part of it, as I've already talked about. I've gotten better at being more proactive with communication, communicating my ideas clearer, because there was a little bit of miscommunication along the way. So just that aspect of it has been.
Now, how have you been communicating? Has it just been emails? Have it been phone calls? You know, I am terrified of making phone calls. I'll tell you right now, I hate picking up the phone. But emails, no problem. Face-to-face, no problem. Have you had to do like presentations like what we're doing right now? It's not like a formal where you're standing in front of an audience, but you still have to, you know, talk about what you've done.
Yeah, I've had to present my idea to get approved both by my mentor and by an official council member.
Okay.
And I've had to present to, you know, the people that I'm asking to donate.
Okay.
You know, saying, hey, I'm Tia, this is what I'm doing, this is the goal.
This is what
would you like to participate?
Have you had to do any promotion to get the Wish project to stand behind you?
No, I think they were on board the whole way. It was just, we had a little miscommunication of what was all my responsibility, what was all their responsibility, when the time frame was.
Okay.
So.
Have you had like any other partnerships, like, you know, I mentioned, you know, just randomly dentist office donating, you know, toothbrushes or something. Have you had like partnerships with businesses in town, or has it been all like individuals?
Not yet, although I was thinking of getting local businesses more involved, just seeing what they can and can't donate, seeing if they'll put boxes up.
Okay, because I'm thinking, you know, Burlington, again, the business community is very giving, very kind, and I'm just wondering if any of them would be willing to help. And I wasn't sure if that was an option you'd want, an option you'd, an option you'd want. So, okay. So when you're done, let's say, you know, the project, everything's gathered by June, you know, when school gets out, June 22nd or somewhere around there. And it takes you a couple of weeks to, hopefully not, because you probably want your living room back, gather all this stuff together and bring it to the Wish project. Then what?
then I have to go through, on my end,
Yes.
I have to see what I can do about any excess supplies,
Okay.
where any excess funding should
Okay.
go, because I'm not going to keep any of it.
Well, okay. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't think I asked the question that I wanted to. You finished all the paperwork, sent it in.
Yes.
You get the certificate from Nationals saying, Tia Poirier, Eagle Scout, here you go. Then what? What are your plans for afterwards? Are you going to say, see you BSA Scouts, I'm going to go,
No, I'm going to stay in my troop, do camping,
Okay.
help the younger scouts until I'm 18 and can't anymore. I'm planning on leaving the country for college. So,
oh, cool. Where are you going?
Ryerson University, hopefully.
Where's that?
Canada, Toronto, Canada.
Oh, okay. I'm like, does not sound European, but what made you want to go to Canada? Is it the school? Is it what do you want to study? What do you want to be if you grow up?
The school is one of the top 50 fashion schools in the world.
Cool.
So I really want to go there. They have a great program for entrepreneurship, which is what I want to get into.
Okay.
I want
Ever
to
have visions of being on Shark Tank?
I want to go to Canada specifically, and not one of the capitals of fashion in the world, like New York and London and Paris, because both it was less expensive and because I feel like there's it's just a different opportunity.
Right.
You know?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it either, but yeah, you just want to. Yeah, I get it. I'm not sure. So, what year in school are you?
I'm a sophomore in
You're
high
a sophomore.
school.
Oh, so you have plenty of time. Cool. Now, do you have any goals after Eagle to continue working on merit badges, or are you just going to be in it for fun?
It's going to be mostly for fun, but I'll get whatever merit badges I can.
Because merit badges are a lot of work.
Yeah, but they're also a lot of fun. You learn a lot of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, you're telling me you went to camp this past weekend.
Yeah, we did. I got my shotgun shooting merit badge.
Cool. Glad that was done in a controlled environment.
On a range.
On a range. Fun. So what was your favorite merit badge to earn?
My favorite merit badge.
I know it can't be shotgun because we already talked about that. It's got to be something else that's already on your
Probably wood carving. That was really fun. I, for one of the requirements, made a chair and spent several hours making.
You carved a chair?
Well, woodworking more than wood carving.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm like, that's going to take a lot of time to whittle a chair, but.
it was a miniature chair. It was like a doll chair.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm thinking like chair. Oh, cool. Have you ever done something like that before?
No, at the time I hadn't. I've done more things like that since.
Okay.
But I spent several hours making that chair and almost didn't get the merit badge because I didn't do all the requirements because I spent all the time making the chair.
Well, is there like a time limit that you have to earn a merit badge in X amount of time?
No, it was just I went for the day to earn the merit badge, and so we had a certain number of hours until
you went
it
to like
closed.
a class, and you're like, okay, you have to get it. Oh, okay. So can you work on merit badges on your own?
If
Or do you
as
have
long
to,
as you have a merit badge counselor,
okay.
then you can earn the merit badge. Your scoutmaster can also technically sign off on things, but it's more generally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because a merit badge counselor is someone who has like experience in.
Yeah. Just
So like
who's
someone like
approved.
me, I've never done wood carving before, so I would be a horrible counselor on that. So.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no, definitely. It's okay. What was the hardest merit badge?
The hardest merit badge is
Not the one that you hated the most, but the hardest one. Could be the same, but.
trying to think. Let me use my cheat sheet here.
Oh, that's not a cheat sheet. Because the swimming one's pretty hard. Don't you have to do like a mile swim?
I actually got that one at camp.
Oh, okay.
So I went for the week and for basically a class period every day. I went and got some of the requirements done for swimming.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was, it was harder than a lot of them that you can get in like a day.
Okay.
But It was all right. It's not the hardest one I've ever done. I'm trying to think because there have been ones that have taken me a while. The citizenship merit badges are ones that are often a lot of people's last merit badges before they get Eagle. They're Eagle required.
Okay. So yeah, for like the Eagle required, there are certain ones that you have to earn.
Yeah. And then, as I said before, you have like 11 Eagle required merit badges that are specific ones that are required. And then you have 10 merit badges that are just other ones that you can get.
That are fun.
Mm-hmm. But you have to have all 21.
Okay. Now, speaking of the citizenship ones, I happen to know that there's a new citizenship, well, fairly new, called Citizenship in Society. And that right now counts as one of those Eagle required ones, but isn't mandatory until like June.
Yes, June is when they're, you can earn it now,
right?
But June is when they're putting it in as you have to earn it before you get Eagle, and then you'll have to have 22 merit badges.
Okay. So where does your timeline fall? Are you going to have to earn that merit badge, or do you think you'll slip in under the wire?
Depends on how fast I get donations in, how fast I do all my paperwork.
Start the paperwork now. No, actually, it seems like a pretty fun merit badge. So cool. So, yeah, I'm just kind of, looking at this, and you've answered a lot of them, but being a scout is a very valuable experience in your future life. Two questions. How do you think scouting, the global scouting, has prepared you for your future? And then how do you think earning your Eagle has prepared you for the future?
So scouting in general, from the time that you're little, it teaches you a lot of things. Both Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts are very leadership and personal progress oriented. Girl Scouts is more like be a leader, get into like a higher position, you know.
Okay.
Boy Scouts is more be a leader in your community and in your environment.
Okay.
But it's nice because you have to surround yourself with people. You have to get along with people. You have to learn to manage your own time, sometimes manage other people's time. You learn how to delegate. It's a lot of just leadership, communication, and it's hard work. It's really hard work. You have to plan things and you have to carry out plans, which ties into management. But it's character building, it's hiking, and it's going out into the woods and making pancakes for all your meals because you forgot to bring anything else. Happened once.
I happen to know one particular individual that's in the control room that would be very happy to have pancakes all the time.
But it's just learning lessons and building character, and that's
So you actually survived on pancakes for a whole weekend.
Well, I was part of the patrol that was more prepared
Okay.
on that particular camping trip.
So you have pancakes and syrup. Okay, maybe not. Okay, so anything more to add about the whole scouting experience?
No, that's it. But with Eagle specifically, it's a nice thing to have on your resume, but it's also, again, it's work. It's the same like time management leadership stuff, but with like an extra added responsibility
Kind of like
onto
brought
it.
to the next level.
Yeah, because it's up to you. It's entirely your responsibility. It's entirely just what you can do and what you push yourself to do. Being ambitious and asking for help and
sometimes asking for help is hard.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
But like pushing the boundaries, going out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
How have you managed coming out of your comfort zone? Because it's hard.
Yeah. It's my natural like
personality.
Personality is I'm a natural leader, but I also am bad at delegating. I like to do everything myself.
Oh my gosh, you sound like me. You sound like half the scout leaders I know. Or more than half.
But I want to do everything myself. I want to send out all the emails myself. I want to do all the communication myself. I want to get all the donations in myself. But it's hard to just,
Let
ask.
go.
Yeah, let go. Ask someone else if they'll contact people they know.
Okay.
And just kind of sit back and manage it a little bit more. Not that sitting back is easy.
No, you're not sitting back,
Yeah.
but you're still not doing everything.
Yeah. Having
And
it be a little less hands-on for you personally.
and not only is it, delegating, but it's also building a trust or establishing a trust. Like, I'm going to give you this to do, and then you have to trust them that they're going to get it done. And so many, not necessarily so many times, but all it takes is that one time that someone does not come through, and it just messes it up for everybody.
It makes it really hard to talk to people and not check in on them every 5 minutes and be like, hey, did you do the thing yet?
There are managers out there that do that. They're called micromanagers. No. Okay. Did I cut you off?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I jump into things. The talk about, the backing up and letting somebody else do it. I'm not very good at that. We still have time left, so we might go into repeating some stuff. But if you had a word of advice, or more than one word, how would you encourage someone to get involved in scouting? Just do it, it's fun. I mean, there's a lot of things that are fun, but what makes scouting so special?
Probably go into it with kind of a goal of what you want, because a lot of people, as I said before, people go into scouts, they can choose merit badges or eagle requirements, or you can just go for the camaraderie, have fun. It's good to kind of know what you're doing and to have a plan, but it's also good to know what you're getting into, and not judge scouting based on your first interaction with it. I know my oldest brother had a negative experience with scouting when he first joined in the other Burlington troop, Troop 103. And so he didn't want to do scouting anymore, but then he moved to 511 and he had a much more positive experience. And so it's just
you got to find
your place. Yeah.
Like anything else, sports teams or something. But, sports teams find that camaraderie and, it is fun. But I think, also looking at your merit badge sash, you only have one, but merit badge is, a lot of skills that you learn that, again, I'm going to get on my soapbox now, but I find that scouting actually teaches you skills that schools can no longer provide because schools are required to do everything else.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, when I was in 7th grade, I got to build a shelf in shop, and I got to build bookends, and they don't have that in 7th grade anymore because there's so many other things you have to do.
I mean, I go to a vocational high school, so we have shops for things, but you don't really learn that in a general public school, in middle school or high school. And I think that it's kind of hard to, because with the, No Child Left Behind programs and stuff like that, everyone's learning the same thing at the same pace.
Right.
And so it's hard to find your niche, find what you like doing. And scouting provides an opportunity to both build the skills to do what you want to do and also kind of give you a chance to see if there are things that you want to do. Like, as you said, wood carving, woodworking, that sort of thing. That's not offered in schools.
And I also find it the opportunity to find out what you don't like to do.
Yeah, I've had a couple merit badges that I didn't like. Surprisingly enough, as someone, I want to go into fashion design. I go to a tech school for design visual communications. I didn't like the textile merit badge.
Really?
I didn't like, I thought I would. I thought I liked learning about, textiles and stuff, but it was more about textile history, which I wasn't as interested in, than about the actual textiles themselves.
Okay.
So it's just kind of seeing what all there is in a certain field and seeing if it's something you actually want to get into.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the other things that you want to try doing through scouting? You know, you like camping, but what are some of the other things? Can you go, like, isn't there like a snorkeling or scuba dive?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. My troop is going on a caves and cliffs kind of adventure trip where we're going to go spelunking and stuff, ish. There's scuba
I love
diving.
that word, spelunking. It sounds so much fun.
There's scout troops that go on ships and do stuff. I'm blanking on what they're called right now. Sea Scouts.
Sea Scouts.
Yeah. That have crews and they do stuff.
Okay.
There's
So if you get motion sick, that's probably not the best opportunity for you.
Yeah. I know someone who just who's in Scouts right now and just went on a trip to Philmont Mountains and
Oh, cool.
days of hiking. So it's just,
Now, would you ever want to go to Philmont?
yeah, I think I would.
So what is Philmont? You know, I've heard of it, and I don't know if any of the viewers know what it is, but it's New Mexico?
I forget. I've never actually been.
Okay.
I just heard it from that one person. They do a lot of
Several
stuff. They
thousand miles away.
They do a lot of stuff. They do snowboarding and skiing and summer sports and everything. So
Cool. Hopefully not snowboarding at the same time as scuba diving, but I don't know. They have wetsuits that. Anyway, you were telling me earlier, before we started recording, that you went to Mass Jam.
yes.
What is Mass Jam?
So every couple years, Scouts has a jamboree where they get everyone together, and by everyone I mean, you know, Scout troops that are available in a bunch of different councils.
Okay.
I'm in the Spirit of Adventure Council, and they have a planned event, and then you can also trade patches and badges
Love
and
doing
stuff.
patch trading.
So there was one a few years ago that was SOAR. A lot of people called it SOAK because it rained all weekend.
Oh, no.
I forget
And
what
I bet even though the motto of scouting is be prepared, how many scouts did not have rain gear? No, I'm not asking you to answer that,
Well-
but probably at least more than one.
Well, on that trip we found out that waterproof really means water resistant.
Oh, okay.
So it was
Right.
a trip. I caught my first fish on that
Yay!
trip.
It was in my tent. No, I don't know. I'm just.
And then
So yeah, tell me. Continue telling me more about SOAR and or SOAK.
I'm forgetting exactly what they stand for, but everyone's an acronym. And we have one coming up that's TOAST.
Toast. Okay.
I
Another camp out. Camporee, jamboree thing.
I forget what that one's.
Well, they just announced recently that the National Jamboree has been rescheduled because they had to like change the schedule a few times because of COVID, but that's actually coming up next year in 2023. Do you have any desire to go?
Yeah, I think it's a great scouting opportunity. You know, meet new people, learn new things, go to the events.
And you'll still be young enough, because in 4 years you probably won't be, because you'll be in Canada. So the National Jamboree is just like a giant camp out. That's
Yeah,
like
more or less.
10, 12 days. And so what do you get to do? Like, let's go back to SOAR or Mass Jam. Yeah, tell me, let's keep talking about that.
So Mass Jam was an opportunity. My troop went, we set up camp. There were cooking hazards that happened. You know, every camping trip, something happens.
Okay.
But they have...
Pancakes for everybody.
No, but they have different events you can go to.
Okay.
Kind
Is it
of
like all skill building and just
Yeah.
focusing on merit badges, or is it just to have fun? Or
It's just to have fun, but there was like an archery station that I went to and was better than everyone at, obviously.
of course. Wait, do you have your archery merit badge?
I don't actually.
No!
I have all the requirements except for one, which is the long range shooting, which I ran out of time the last time I had the chance.
So if you go to summer camp this year, can you just do the long range thing?
Yep.
And get it? So there's not like a time limit from,
Yeah.
you ran out of time.
Yeah. The only time something similar to that happened was with my personal fitness merit badge, which I also don't have yet.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a 75% partial. Because the first time I got it, I wasn't technically in Scouts, so then it didn't really count.
Oh,
So
okay. And that's also something that you have to do consistently for like 30 days or
Yeah.
60 days or 90 days. And if you miss a day, do you have to start over again?
I think you can just log it. I think as
Or
long
you
as
just-
every 2 weeks you test, I think as
Okay.
long as you log the days that you missed and explain, that there's challenge being consistent,
Okay.
then.
Like, I didn't go for my 3-mile jog because it was snowing. Yeah.
In July.
In July. Well, it's happened. Well, maybe not, but it's snowed in May before. It's snowed in October before. So, anything can happen. This is New England after all. So what's going to these camporees or jamborees? Yes, you get to do these skills. Is there a particular story, like you met somebody from Canada, or you got this really cool patch from somewhere that has a story behind it?
I have this pin right here. I don't know if you
Okay.
can see it. I'll try to show the camera.
It's shiny.
But it's of Lord Baden-Powell, who is the founder of Scouts.
Okay.
And that's because at Mass Gym, we had, as I said before, a bunch of activities. And if you did all the activities with your troop, then I think that was what got the pin.
Okay.
But
Like little challenges.
yeah. And then there was also cards, trading cards. And you got 7 cards that were of a specific event that they had there.
Okay.
I think it was 7, maybe it was more than that.
Okay.
But then you got 7 identical cards, and each troop got different cards.
Oh.
And so you try to trade them and get a full set
Oh.
of all the events that they had there.
Okay.
And then you would trade them in, and it was a puzzle. And on the backs of all the cards,
Oh. So
it was a portrait of Lord Baden-Powell.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you needed all 7 to create the final picture, or however it was, because 7 probably doesn't line up into a.
Yeah, it
I don't
might
know.
have been 9. I forget.
Yeah, 9 would
Nine,
work. It's a
yeah.
nice little matrix. But that's cool. But you had to turn the cards in. I think that would be
Yeah.
cool to be able to keep the cards.
I mean, you could keep your cards. I
Okay,
think.
but then you don't
I don't
get the
think you.
prize.
I don't think you had to trade them in, and then they just took them. I think
Okay.
you just showed that you had all of them,
Oh, okay.
and then
That'd be cool.
I forget what the reward. Maybe it was this.
Yeah, it was.
It was years ago.
So what are you looking? I started that question. I didn't have an end. What advice would you have to? Okay, we talked about advice that you'd give someone to join scouting. Did we talk about what advice would you give somebody whether or not they should earn their eagle, and what are the advantages? Because it is a lot of work.
I think you should totally go for it if you can. It is kind of a decision you have to make from the start because you have to go through all the ranks and they have time requirements and
Okay.
all of that. But I think that everyone who gets into scouting should go for eagle if they can. I know a lot of people who've gone for it and then given up. I know a lot of people who have not gone for it and then decided they wanted it, but it was too late. So
Okay.
it's a great thing to put on your resume, if nothing else. But it's also just all the things that you learn along the way. It's
It's also like not really a secret society, but it's almost like, what is
Yeah,
the
you get to-
do you remember the statistic? I think it's like 1 in 4 people who join scouting actually achieve eagle or something.
yeah, I think it's something like that. But it's like, if you're eagle, you get to go places wearing your eagle sash and having all your
It's
eagle
like
stuff. And
instant recognition,
Yeah.
kind of. Cool. All right, well, we do have 5 minutes left, not to be subtle or anything. So let's recap your project again. So how would somebody go about making a donation to your project, whether it's a monetary donation or a product?
So we have a box at the Woburn Scout Shop that you can donate to with physical items. You can send checks out to Troop 511 at my Scoutmaster's house at 10 Sylvester Road in Burlington. And we also have a Troop Venmo that I don't know the details for off the top of my head. But
You have a website though, don't you? Does your troop have a website?
we do have a website. I don't know if my project is on the website yet.
Okay. I'm just wondering if they could email you and say, hey, what's your Venmo or something? Because that would be cool.
Yeah. I don't really use my personal email.
No. No, but like I think
On
it's
the-
troop511 at
Yeah.
Gmail?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah,
Okay.
troop511@gmail.com. Or our Scoutmaster at rnrpear@gmail.com, pear like the fruit.
Oh, okay. So, anything else that you'd like to add? Anything else in the world?
Chocolate's great.
Chocolate is great. Okay, well, we still have 3 minutes left, so we got to come up with something else.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things you can donate.
Yeah, let's check this out again.
Yeah. You can obviously donate backpacks as well. Those are always acceptable because they're more expensive than
Okay.
things. You can
okay, razors.
razors.
Okay.
You can get a lot of the stuff at the dollar store. Toilet paper.
Which is now the $1.25 store.
The $1.25 store, yeah. Dish soap, just things that a lot of people don't really think about. Hand sanitizer.
Oh, wow. That almost looks like a bottle of water. That might be scary.
I'm
Don't
sure
get
the
those
cap's
confused.
different. So
Don't get those confused.
deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrushes, shampoo, conditioner, sunscreen. A lot of people
yeah,
don't really
that's really
realize.
important coming up.
Even like bug spray around here.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Soap. Just various
The
things.
full kit and caboodle.
Mhm.
And some of, it's like regular size stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
So-
looking at this, okay, maybe like hand sanitizer and toothpaste has a shelf life, but a lot of the other stuff doesn't. Like paper towels don't really go bad.
Yeah, I think it would be really great if this kind of donation, working with the Wish Project even, could like start to be an annual thing so that people could donate every year.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're always running out of stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, just one backpack of this isn't going to last you the rest of your life.
So if somebody wanted to continue this project, what would be the steps that they should take? Because if they wanted to do a collection or if they wanted to, reach out to the Wish Project, how would you start this whole thing?
I started it with my church.
Okay.
A lot of churches have connections to various charities.
Okay.
You can also find the Wish Project's website, and they have, I'm pretty sure they have their emails and phone numbers listed on the website.
Yeah,
of how
usually
you can
websites
contact
always
them.
have contact us.
Yeah. And so that's where I'd get started if I didn't have my church and members and representatives.
Or they probably could reach out directly to the Wish Project
Yeah.
or a local food pantry or something and
exactly.
say, hey, let's do this.
Mm-hmm. Another hiccup along the way was I wanted to work with the Burlington Food Pantry, but they don't allow people under the age of 18 to have engage with their
Okay, engage with their clients.
just for privacy reasons, respectful.
Which is fair enough. Your privacy as well as
theirs.
as theirs, exactly. So, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the woman on the wings reminding us what we could talk about, because we are out of time. So I am so happy that you came here. I love seeing the stuff.
Yeah,
I
thank you for
love the
having me.
idea. So I wish you the best of luck with the project,
Thank you.
with earning your eagle, and college, life after college, just more success to you and for you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I also want to thank everyone at home for tuning in this evening. I hope you are as inspired to change the world as our wonderful soon-to-be Eagle Scout has. Thank you very much for tuning in. Have a great night, and I'll see you around town.